39, week 39. Well, that explains a lot. We're near the end of the year already. So these are a weekly reading that we do every Sunday. And so we do this online usually. So this is very special to be in person. And this is our first time in this room. And you all made it. So what you see behind us is the effort of many devotees coming together. So this is a weekly reading from the commentaries based on the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita. And we have this kind of laid out for us for the whole year. Swamiji's picked readings to interpret and share the interpretation of. And the book is called Rays of the One Light. So that tells you a lot about its purpose. So this is week 39. Many are the pathways to truth. So you can close your eyes if you feel to. Just, again, lifting that energy in your spine and bringing this into your soul. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. On the dedication page of Swami Kriyananda's book, The New Path, appears the following account. A group of Paramhansa Yogananda's disciples had gone with him to see a movie about the life of Gyandev, a great saint of medieval India. Afterwards, they gathered and listened to the master explain certain subtler aspects of that inspiring story. A young man in the group mentioned another film he had seen years earlier in India about the life of Mirabai, a famous woman saint. If you'd seen that movie, he exclaimed, you wouldn't even have liked this one. The guru rebuked him. Why make such comparisons? The lives of great saints manifest in various ways the same one God. The Bible contains a similar account in the Gospel of St. Luke, chapter 9. And John said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in thy name, and we forbade him because he followeth not with us. And Jesus said unto him, Forbid him not, for he that is not against us is for us. The more central a truth, the greater the number of contexts in which it can be applied. Truth is like a pure white light, containing within itself the full spectrum of the rainbow. Let no one tell you what your path to God ought to be. Many are the paths. Select your own according to the dictates of your own nature, no matter how out of step that puts you with other people. Sri Krishna in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita states, trying even unsuccessfully to fulfill one's own spiritual duty, dharma, is better than pursuing successfully the duties of others. Better death itself in the pursuance of one's own duties. The pursuance of another's duties is fraught with spiritual danger. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Oh. Oh. Oh.
I thought today I'd start with the Yogananda's from Whispers of Eternity's interpretation of this, or this spiritual interpretation of the Lord's Prayer.
Oh, good idea.
And I thought it was quite befitting in relation to the way we perceive things. O Heavenly Father, Mother, Friend, Beloved God, may the halo of thy presence spread over all minds. May the religion of matter worship be converted into loving, directed worship of thee, since without thy power to love, we cannot truly love anything. May we love thee first and above everything else. May the heavenly kingdom of bliss, where thou dwellest, manifest itself with all its divine qualities on earth, and may all lands be freed from limitations, imperfections, and miseries. Let thy kingdom within us manifest itself without. Father, leave us not in the pit of temptations into which we fell by the misuse of thy gift of reason. When we become freer and stronger, should it be thy wish to test us, to see whether we love thee more than any temptation, then Father, make thyself more tempting than temptation. O Father, if it be thy wish to test us, help us keep our willpower strong enough to meet all thy tests. Give us our daily bread, food, health, and prosperity for the body, efficiency for the mind, and above all, thy wisdom and love for our souls. Teach us to deliver ourselves, with thy help, from the meshes of ignorance which we have woven through our own carelessness. Shanti, Shanti. That was kind of powerful. I haven't read that for a while. It's kind of a beautiful prayer. Absolutely powerful. As always with the divine, it was kind of timely in relation to, it was pretty much the theme of our weekend, studying what do we study this weekend? I forgot, Patanjali. And it was kind of impressive. But what I thought I'd do first and foremost, because I just felt to do this, was introduce myself as Nara. And I know that sounds kind of bizarre, and you've probably met me before. But even just after reading that prayer, I'm a different person. I'm a different being. And I'm growing ever, hopefully, by choice, closer to the infinite. And along this journey, each one of us is going to be completely different. We had this amazing weekend, and it was amazing satsang. I don't think it was even teaching. We all grew together, and every single person that came this weekend is now a different person. And it's such a beautiful thing, and it shows our intention. We started off with a bit of a fun activity. We all went diving in Egypt, but we all had to plan and organize this trip. And we had great fun doing it. Someone organized the equipment, someone else organized the instructors, someone else organized where we were heading. And it was very easy. We all got caught up doing these things, and it's very easy to get caught up. And I guess each person individually would have come up with a different idea about where we were going to go, what kind of equipment we needed, what kind of things were important to us on our journey, where we are at our stage, where we are finding God. And it was so interesting when you think about it, but when you look at the fundamentals of what we were doing, we're ultimately going to explore the vast ocean in and around Egypt. And for those that haven't done it, it's worth a Google search, some amazing dive sites around there. But the point being is, what did we need? There's some fundamental truths behind there. We needed some instruction, didn't we? Because those that have never dove before, or even those that have, probably wouldn't be bad to do some reminders on one myself before I delved into those depths. And then outside of that, we need some buoyancy compensation. So we need to, because we're going under the depths, and then we need some stuff to breathe in and out. But ultimately, everything else is a choice, isn't it? Everything else becomes that choice, and it becomes a personal choice. And your experience becomes a personal one, because every single person sees it through their eyes. And it's kind of an amazing thing when you think about life. Every single one of us, and what masters his pure reason for being was ultimately to bring truth back to the chaos of everyone debating whether the air tank that I used was better than your air tank, or my mask was going to see better than your mask, or where I got my instruction from way better than where you got your instruction from, my friend. And it's kind of interesting when you think about religion in that perspective, that it's kind of like that. And My understanding or my interpretation of what Jesus said to Babaji, who then passed it down to Yogananda, was we need to put a pause on this. We've got truth there, but it's now being washed away and flitted away. We need to bring truth back. And Yogananda came to bring truth to all religions. And it's kind of an interesting thing. When we did our weekend study, I think we could now pick up any book from any spiritual path and get through some of the fundamental truths of all of them and pull them out. And ultimately, what are they there for? The fundamentals, the ethos behind all those are finding God. And what is the path? Patanjali's, and we read that Yogananda wrote in Autobiography of a Yogi, and you get a gift if you can remember what page it was on. No, that was a bit of a theme. But Autobiography of a Yogi talks about Patanjali, and it says that there is no dating of these. In fact, there is no real author of these. But why? Because they're timeless. And that is what that period of time, it was Sanatan Dharma. Every other label is just ego given. Some Westerners came along and found Sanatan Dharma, and because they found it on the Indus River, they called them Hindus that were practicing there. And as we know over these period of times, that's how it's all been labeled, but it's all an outward label. But fundamental to all of that, there's an underlying truth. And that is essentially what this path that Yogananda brought through this lineage, this amazing lineage, was to bring that truth. And through that truth, we have to find that truth through our own experience and be able to be discerning. And how do we do that? How do we become discerning for our own truth? We've got some amazing tools, haven't we? We've got these amazing tools at Yogananda. He didn't just say, hey, guys, you've got to find truth on your own. See you later. Through this lineage, we know that story from Babaji. Lahiri fought as a householder for us to have these tools, to have that freedom to find truth. It wasn't separated. It wasn't a thing that you had to be a sadhu and renunciate to do. It was a truth for these coming ages that we required. That's a beautiful part about it. Essentially, it's that time frame. And I love, you'll have to correct me on the timing of all this, but it was like, was it Sri Teshwar said if you read something, then you should meditate on it for a certain period of time.
Said,
There we go.
if you read something, to write about it. So if you read something for an hour, you write about it for 2, you meditate on it for 3.
Yeah. So there's even a ratio of finding truth. That's kind of amazing, isn't it? And I think Swamiji talked about that thread. It's like we're trying to get our thread through an eye of a needle. But if the thread's all out here, all these tools are trying to get us back to that truth, twining it all, licking your little thing, twisting it up. And we'll get it in that eye of a needle. But that's the importance of this underlying truth that we're getting to. We're binding that truth, and then we're living that truth of where we come. And there is all of these religions, all of these books, all of these journeys that every single person knows. I had a lovely friend who used to say, isn't it funny that you just happen to be born right next door to the perfect religion? Doesn't matter where you are in the world, Papua New Guinea, you just happen to be near that, Bushmaster that happened to live down the road, or everywhere across the world. It's just where you were born for your lesson. But it's up to you to do that soul searching. It's up to you to find that truth. And we've been given these tools by these great lineage, these great masters, on our journey, on our family and our community, to help each other, nurture each other with that truth on our journey back to God.
So we'll do a song now. Yes, you can get out your songbook. So it's on page 7